Alright, welcome to this video. I'm going to break down exactly my daily habits and my routine that have brought me to 75K a month. So this is the exact same schedule that I've been using for the last 10 months, where I have been going from 0 to 75K a month. And as you can see, if I go back, this has literally been my calendar for 8 to 10 months. And this is just exactly what's required in terms of inputs. So you can actually see it from here. This has been the calendar just filled with sales calls ever since I started. All right. But yeah, let's get into it. So this is a typical week in the day of my life where I'm obviously trying to scale my agency. So let's look at the last week and kind of break it down. So I wake up at around, I would say 9 to 10 in the morning, depending on when I go to sleep. And the reason for that is obviously because I'm in Europe and I work with companies that are based in the US. So that gives me a really, really good advantage in my opinion, because then I have full peace in the morning before the team wakes up, before the clients wake up, and I can focus on deep work. And what this deep work block is always for is basically focusing on the biggest constraint in the business. And that means I can just attack whatever is the biggest constraint in the business and fix it, which means my bottleneck is ever changing, which is the ultimate goal of the business. So for instance, in the last couple of weeks, my biggest challenge has, for the first time in 10 months, been B2B ads. They just kind of flopped. So I spent all my deep work time just testing new ads, and now finally they're back to good performance again. So that's great. But that's just a great example that you have this time to basically just attack. You can also build system, whatever needs to be taken to basically take the business to the next level. And that's also something I'm breaking down so you can figure out exactly what is the biggest constraint right now in the business. So yeah, do my deep work. Maybe it's a bit of a bad habit, but I'm kind of addicted to white monsters. I would admit that. And then I just fast from the morning until in the middle of the day. So 1 hour before I hit my workout, I will take a kind of pre-workout meal, which is some Greek yogurt with some muesli, dark chocolate, and I'll eat that 1 hour before, and then I will go to the gym. So in the gym, I'm having my split set up as push-pull legs, push-pull. So I'm training basically 6 times a week. And I have had a personal coach for the last 6 months. So I've been on a training plan and also a meal plan. And what I have been doing when I have been training is I've always been basically tracking all of my metrics, so I know how much I lift, and also how many reps I get, because that means I can always progressive overload when I train. Once the workout is done, I will have my first kind of meetings. So my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is a bit more heavy with team meetings. So I'll have a meeting with my media buyer, then I'll have a meeting with my executive assistant, and then we will have a meeting with our sales agent team. From there, I'm having a couple of client check-in calls here and there, and other than that, it's just pure sales calls. So I'm having sales calls from around 4 p.m. Mondays until 11. The last call is at 11. And then I have on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I have from 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. So yeah, it's a quite large amount of hours, but the more I can spend on ads, the more slots I have available, the faster I can scale. So that's just a sacrifice I'm willing to take. And in terms of my nutrition, I really optimize it for being as efficient as possible. So for basically my lunch after I have been working out, I'm just basically cooking some eggs, whatever is fast. Honestly, sometimes I just take a couple of protein shakes, and a handful of almonds, and then I'm focusing on work again. For dinner, I always basically make some chicken and rice, get my carbs in. So I focus on not getting too many carbs during the day. Um, Obviously, like in between these calls, I'm also able to get some work done. And the way I basically plan that out is using Monday. So always I have 2026 like my big movers at the top here, so I can put in like the main priorities. So these tasks could be like hire this employee, fire this employee, build this specific like tracking system out, etc., etc. The big like needle movers that I need to get done. So for instance, right now we're building like a pretty big like lovable fulfillment tracker. So that's something that, for instance, have been on this list, so we can have full clarity on our clients' numbers. Then I have my daily to do. So for instance, make a YouTube video I could put in here. I can put the status in, the priority. And then this note section is also really great. I use it for myself. I also use it for my team. So you can just upload files, you can put documents in, etc., etc. And yeah, I actually don't use these two here at the bottom. So I just fill this up with tasks, and then I move it like around depending on how important that task is. And I go to sleep at around like 12 to 1. So it is pretty late, but it's also quite hard, taking a sales call and then jumping straight to bed. So that is kind of just how it is. But I get my hours of sleep, which is important. Something that has been absolutely game changing for me that I do every time at the end of the day is my personal habit tracker. And I actually saw that I really, really, really increased my revenue since starting using this specific tool. So first, I go in and type my daily intention. So this is basically what I'm going to do for the day. This ties into my to-do list. So I look at my to-do list, I look at this one, and then I figure out, okay, what exactly am I going to focus on today? Then I put in where did bad habits slip up today. So this is like at the end of the day, I type in one win. I think about what is the biggest constraint right now in the business holding me back, because then I can go the night before and fill in my daily intention for the next day. I put in my sleep performance, then I have my calorie goal here. I type in yes, no, did I hit it, did I not hit it? And this is also ever changing depending on what my current goal is. I'm currently on the cut. So yeah, I'm getting around 2100 calories. I rank my energy on 1 to 10, my workout quality, and then my input percentage in total. And then also, am I on track to hit projections? 15 new clients signed this month. New cash, I can put in like basically like 1 out of 15 clients. Yes, we are on track. So you can just put that in. And then I have my month to date agency total revenue. And this is just so powerful because it's like a game, and you're like making the unconscious conscious by basically using this tracker. Like your brain starts to work for you. I know that sounds like a bit woo woo, but it's just like when you know exactly what you're going to work on the next day, it's like your brain works like for you during the night, and prepares you. And it's also like when you see the number you want to hit every day here, it's kind of like your subconscious mind is helping you to get to that goal. So you start taking actions towards it. Then here I have my kind of different like habits and things I need to do. So I'm just basically checking these off and making sure it's done. So I would highly suggest using this. And then one more thing I do is on the 8th of the month, like basically once like for every week, I go in and fill out this CEO dashboard. And obviously this is in a sheet normally, but I just can't show the full sheet. But you'll basically get all of the metrics I'm tracking here. So essentially they're the North Star metrics for the business, which is the most important ones. You segment it into like week 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just put in the numbers, because you need to put these numbers in manually because it makes you reflect, it makes you think. And if these numbers aren't where you want them to be, you're going to be pissed, and you need to change something. So I put in my lifetime value, my net revenue growth, CAC to LTTP, and client retainer amount. So these are like some metrics that are more tracked on like a monthly basis. But these other ones are more like on a weekly. So we have operating expenses, refunds given, and then I have some Danish clients. I'm just like tracking what I make from them. That's because I had it from initially when I started the company. I have my new cash collected, total revenue, net operating profit in dollars, and net operating profit in percentage. I then have my B2B ad spend, how much have I spent on hiring ads. Then I have my marketing, which is really important. This is probably what has been the most important thing, because I would arguably say that one of the absolute most important things in the business is, generating new clients, and therefore you need to always have a finger on the pulse in terms of what's going on with the marketing side of things for acquiring new clients. So I track my cost per website schedule, I track my demo calls booked, my demo calls show percentage, how many showed calls, how many qualified calls, and what is the cost per qualified show. Super important metric, cost per qualified show, because it basically tells you like what you're putting into the system, how great it is. Because if you're running like shitty bait and switch offers, yes, you can get a lot of cost per you can get a lot of schedules, and you will have a low cost per schedule, but maybe your cost per qualified show is not that great. So you can kind of like on the weekly basis determine what you should do on the B2B side of things. Then I have my cost per acquisition, how many clients, and also my close percentage. I have client success here with client loss, grace period given, client at start of the month, client start at the end of the month, client at the end of the month, client churn percentage, how many referrals, upsells, reviews, and then I have my call center metrics and also client marketing. So that is pretty much everything. I hope it was valuable. Bye bye.